Hello, everybody.
Good evening. Welcome, everyone, to the first edition of How to Get Off the Tools in 90 Days Without Increasing Your Expenses. My name's George Santaltzis, and this is a lovely Anna Gavalas. We'll be your presenters here tonight from Get Scaled, and we're really excited to be here with you tonight, presenting this content to you. It's something we've been working very hard on for a very long time, and it's something that we believe is very valuable, and it is going to give a lot of assistance to the community. So we're really excited about everyone joining us here tonight. So I want to say a really big thank you for giving us your time. We know as business owners that our time is so precious, it's so valuable, and we barely find any time to get outside of doing our never-ending to-do list. So a big special thank you from the team at Get Scaled for giving us your time here tonight. We really appreciate it, and we hope that you find maximum amount of value for what we're presenting here for you tonight. So, in saying that, nobody likes introducing themselves, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about Anna, and Anna's going to tell you a little bit about me.
Now, just while we're talking, George does call me Anna. It is Anna or Anna. He likes to call me the Greek name, so feel free at any point to call me either.
So Anna, whichever way you want to call her, has had an extensive career in commercial cleaning, sales, and has gone on to build scale, and exit multiple 7- and 8-figure businesses. She had an outstanding career in commercial cleaning industry, and she's now left that, and she's dedicating her time and efforts into helping small business owners grow and scale their businesses by teaching them the skills and strategies that she's learned and collected over the years through her corporate career.
Thank you, George.
That's okay. It's only the truth. Anna's truly a disruptor in every industry she touches. She's very, very passionate about helping small business owners, coming from a long line of entrepreneurs herself and small business owners herself. She's very passionate about helping business owners grow and scale, and also especially get through the hard times.
Thanks, George. It's very apt. And we can't leave George without a proper introduction. George has come from a very, very long line of entrepreneurs, starting and dating all the way back from 1890s in Australia. He has had a long and expansive career in construction, project management, and trade, having been involved in over $100 million worth of construction projects, and is truly half man, half process, and we could not do what we do without him. So between the two of us, we have a varied and wide skill set. I handle a lot more of the sales, vision and growth, and George handles more back-end operations and optimization.
We'll be telling you a little bit more about that later on today. So we'll just run you through a little bit about what tonight is going to be all about and how we're going to be engaging. So first and foremost, any questions that you have during the event, I'd love for you to throw them up in the chat box. Our team are going to be collecting them at the end, and we're going to be picking a handful of them to go through in the Q&A section. So you'll get our thoughts during that time as well. Rules of engagement. We know that these things can drag on a little bit, and we really do our best to try and make it sure that everyone's fully engaged at all times. So in order to help us do that, if you could treat this as a live seminar, answer questions as we ask them, put your hand up, throw a reaction, get involved, do whatever you can to make it as much of a live experience as you can. That will help us, that will help you get the most out of it as well. If you're agreeing with things that we're saying, give us a show of hands, and even feel free to speak out loud. It just helps. Everyone will probably look at you a little bit weird if you're at home by yourself talking to a computer screen. But it just helps with the interaction, I guess.
But feel free to use the tools that we have available. That is your text, your chats, your emojis. If you can see them on your screen, engage. Our team are there, they're waiting, and they'll be able to help answer any questions, and we'll try and answer questions as we go through the webinar as well.
There will be also a couple of handouts that are going to be sent out to you at a couple of periods during the night. So we'll let you know about what they are, and we'll help you. We'll explain what they are, and we'll go through them at the time as well. Okay.
All
so
right.
Let's get straight into it.
Firstly, we want to talk about why we started Get Scaled. It's very important to us. After having, George has briefly mentioned a little bit about our careers, our respective careers, and how and why we started this. But the reality is that we found that there was a gap in the market. George and I have been attending seminars, coaching, and a lot of education over the last 2 years. We found there was a massive gap in the marketplace, in that there's a lot of opportunity for people to talk about the possibilities in business, but very rarely do people talk about how to get there. So generally, bills come in, payroll comes in, the ATO comes in, super comes in, all of these hindrances and setbacks are along the way, and it prevents us from actually achieving our goals. So we've stepped into this market to provide practical and pragmatic education for people to talk about the realities of business, and to allow us to be in a safe space to talk about how the challenges that we all face in business. Because generally, when people ask you how things are going in business, the general response is good. Is it really though? Over 90% of business owners that have attended our masterclass, have attended our fundamentals, and through our consulting, tell you no. Over the last 18 months, they've had a lot of difficulties with a lot of their cash flow challenges. So we wanted to talk about that. All right, let's go through. I'm going to share the screen. So hopefully you guys can see that. Give us a shout out if you can. Give us a shout out and put your use your emojis or chatbot to acknowledge that you guys can see the screen, so we can see what's going on over here.
And I'm going to hand over to Anna now, or Anna, whichever one you like, and I'll jump back in a little while.
Amazing. Thank you, Anita. I can see your comment there. Thank you. Like I said, guys, we can see everything that you guys are writing in the chat, so feel free to use it. All right. With insolvency at an all-time high, we're on a mission to help and support Australian business owners avoid becoming a statistic. As I mentioned before, we're all about educating and bringing a lot of the corporate strategies that exist into small business, because we feel that it is a major gap in the marketplace. And typically when people scale their businesses, there is quite often a disconnect between the knowing how to get there and bootstrapping and making mistakes to get there. So where we can avoid and where we can help people avoid those mistakes, even our own mistakes, that is what we are dedicated to providing the education on. But first we need to talk about what it means to scale. A lot of business owners who come to see us are at the stage where they've grown organically and typically have a problem or several problems within their business. They want to continue to grow, but don't know where to start. Who can relate? If you can relate, click yes or click an emoji so we can see it. And what we want to talk about is the definition of scale. So what does it actually mean to scale? Scaling a business means laying down the fundamentals to enable and support growth in your company. So that is organic versus strategic growth. So organic growth is bootstrapping your business to get to a particular point. It's bootstrapping your way into turnover. You've spent the least amount of money, and believe me, we all do it. When we first start a business, we want to spend the least amount of money to make it grow. But the idea is that we want to get to a point where we are losing the romanticism of your business and breaking up with your business so that we can start making strategic decisions. That is strategic decisions that include different strategies such as brand, marketing, lead gen, lead nurture, sales, operations, and retention. And we want to be able to make those decisions without emotion. So that is what the difference between organic growth is and strategic growth is. Generally, when people come to learn and educate and be educated, people are in the transition. They've grown organically up until this point, and then over the course of an intensive weekend, which is what George and I do with our businesses, we throw up any challenges that we have at any point in time up on a whiteboard, and we go through every single strategy to make sure that everything is working in alignment with the business direction, the business strategy, and the move forward. Kind of like a masterclass, which is why we created one. Now, it doesn't mean that you avoid problems. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have them either. What it does mean is that you get less emotionally attached to the problem and you focus more on the solution. So when we get from 6 figures into 7 figures, the thing that makes us money at that point is transactions. It's transactions that are an exchange of work for money. However, to grow beyond 7 figures into 8, you definitely need more than just a transaction. There are 5 changes that need to be made that we've identified as part of our framework, and that is branding, people, strategy, systems, and operations. George is going to talk to you a little bit about the Stoic Built story, which is one of our portfolio companies, and talk to you, especially for the tradies out there, talk to you guys about how we changed from George being on the tools into a strategic and scaled company within Stoic.
I told you I'd be back. So my journey in the construction industry has stemmed over nearly 2 decades, and I've grown a lot and learned a lot, especially and definitely come a long way from where I started. As Anna was saying, at the start, it was very transactional. I was running my first business as it was called Masters of Building. Didn't even have a logo. I think we've got something set up for you guys here so you can see the journey. So that was the first business that I had, Masters of Building, which then turned into D5 Construction. We were running a predominantly carpentry-based company, and we grew that. I was on the tools, earning 300 to 400K a year. I had 4 or 5 guys underneath me at all times, and that was really good. That was kind of the ceiling for that business, which I didn't know at the time. However, I was kind of, every time I tried to grow that business past beyond that point, I would struggle and I would face challenges that I wasn't ready for. So assuming that I would have been making 300 to 400K a year, 4 or 5 guys on the books full time, you would assume that putting on 10 guys now, you'd be making double that money. Well, the reality was that wasn't the case. Every time I tried to take that step forward and tried to grow, I would start losing time, start losing quality, and start dropping off on quality, and everything would start getting a lot more difficult. But while I was going through that at the time, I didn't understand why. And it was because I didn't have the fundamentals right in the business. I could handle what I was doing at that time by myself. And every time I stepped out of that, everything got too much for me because I didn't have the right infrastructure in place, the right fundamentals, as I said before. So as we grew beyond that, version 1 of Stoic Built became a predominantly carpentry-based company. We built an infrastructure for that. We grew D5 construction into Stoke, built version 1. We grew that 600% in the space of 6 months. It was a phenomenal effort. I went from being on the tools to an infrastructure of about 15 tradesmen, full-time on the books, plus contractors. Then we had estimators, contract administrators, admin staff, and all the bells and whistles in the office to be able to support that growth. After taking that step forward, we realized that wasn't the direction that we wanted to go in, because to make the money that we wanted to make, there was a lot of moving parts that wasn't the direction that we wanted to go down. So then we peeled it right back, which is version 2 of Stoke, which you can see in your bottom right-hand corner. And that is now predominantly kitchen and bathroom renovations, high-end kitchen and bathroom renovations, and outdoor entertaining areas. So we've found our niche, and which brings us to our next point, that in order to find your gap in the market, you really have to find your niche. You know those jobs that you get that are just spot on? You quote them right, you have the right clients. If anyone is in trade, please put your hand up so I can see that it's all relevant to everybody here. You get these jobs that come through, and everything just seems to work properly. Well, what if we could get more of those? What if, better yet, all of our jobs could be that good? It's not by chance. It's not by manifestation. It's actually on purpose, and what we call it is strategic marketing and operations. So all of your efforts, which means all of your efforts targeting your niche marketplace. So everything we want to do, everything we want to build a business around is our specialty, if that makes sense. And I want to go into a little bit about the power behind marketing and branding. And a really good example that we found is some of the people that you might have seen, some of the companies that you might have seen. One example here is Metricon that we found. So Metricon has an exceptional campaign at the moment, new home with a 5K deposit, which could mean a lot less instant noodles. Now you're probably thinking, what do instant noodles have with homes? But if you ask me, they've absolutely nailed their target market. Instant noodles doesn't have anything to do with building your first home, but first home buyers, generally between the ages of 20 and 30 years old in Australia, if you're lucky enough to be a first home buyer in that age bracket, you're usually saving for a long time, and eating instant noodles is probably a really big part of your life at that stage. So if anyone can relate, again, please chuck up a reaction so we can see that we're all on board. So this is a really good example of the campaign, and a campaign that targets a niche, a very specific niche. And if you see in the offer summary, ready to own your very first home with Home Solution by Metricon. So that's speaking directly to a target market. 5K deposit, again, seems it's not at all out of reach. It's exactly in alignment with where a first home buyer would want to be, because it's very realistic. And again, down the bottom, available to eligible first home buyers. Okay. So in order to find our target market, we do an exercise in our masterclass, and I'd like you guys to take a screenshot of this if you like, or take some notes down. What's that? They could have a new home 5K deposit. Yeah, avocado on toast. That's a great one, Theo.
They can't
oh, not everyone can see. Yeah, that's right.
Read it out. It's actually funny.
Okay, so Theo's saying they could have also redone the marketing as a new home with a 5K deposit. It could mean eating avocado on toast again. Yes, exactly. Excuse me, I'm a little bit under the weather today, so you probably see me coughing and trying to hold back my sneezes. So this is an exercise that we go through at length in our 3-day masterclass. We go from identifying your business and your strengths, and then chunking it right down from total addressable market, serviceable addressable market, serviceable obtainable market, and the target market. And we work out what the actual market cap is and what the actual target market could mean in dollar figures for your business. And we spent a decent amount of time doing that during our masterclass. So what I'd like for all of you to do is take some notes down or take a screenshot of this so you can do this in your own time and start figuring out where your target market is, and what could be some campaigns that you could put out for your business that are a little bit different, that could help you bring in some more revenue, or could even bring in a new revenue stream for your business.
Sorry, I'm going to just jump in here, if you don't mind. I'm here, guys, sorry. One of the key, this is actually one of my favorite modules within the masterclass, and the reason why, and why we've given you this as a value add, and I'd love for you, feel free to take a photo of it, feel free to screenshot. It is here and is one of the most important exercises that you can do when you're workshopping a niche, a campaign, a pivot, or even workshopping your business idea in general. So I know that I can see from some of the attendees that we have here, we've got a lot of people in trade. There's actually been some people that I've spoken to that are in property development. And for those of you in property development, if you can give me an emoji, so I know you know who I'm talking about. But when you're looking at property developers as an example, there is your total addressable market would be how many developments are available in Australia. That would be, so you can work out what is if you captured 100% of the market, what would it be? So that you know how wide your market or your niche is. From there, you go down the line. It could be property developments or developments in Victoria. It could be, and you're wanting to then go down to the southeastern suburbs, and then your target market would be the percentage that you are trying to target with a particular campaign. So everything starts with a business goal or objective, and then goes around a circle or a cog into brand, marketing, and lead gen. So again, please take a photo. Feel free to screen share, screenshot, and keep this for yourself so that you can use this at any point for your business in general to understand the viability and product market fit.
Thank you, Anna.
Oh, you're welcome, George.
She explains it much better than what I do, as you can see. So the next thing we need to work out is how to speak to our target audience. Now, depending on what industry you're in and what products you sell, you're going to be speaking very differently. The way we speak to our target audience is through our brand and through our business. So if any of you have been to a designer store before, bought belt, clothing, whatever it may be, you'll notice that you're treated very differently than when you go to Kmart. Now, that's not to say that either of those two businesses are more successful than the other. They're both very successful businesses. However, the way that you speak to your target audience in those two different demographics and those two different businesses are very different. Jen, yes, you are in the right place, if you're wondering. We've got a message from Jen here. So, speaking to our target audience, we want to be speaking their language. Now, if you noticed before, I showed you the logos of Stokeville, and I might actually just flick back to those because this is a very good point. So if you look here, the black and orange Stokeville logo versus the green Stokeville logo. Black and orange was very commercial based, and these were Canva. They were Canva logos. We liked them. They were colors that resonated with us. And this was a long time ago because we hadn't gone down and done these exercises for ourselves at the time. So throughout our journey, hiring lots of brand specialists and deep diving into what it means to build a brand, we identified that doesn't matter what you like with your business, and if you're attached to a certain color or a certain style or a certain font, it actually makes no difference, because unless you are exactly your target audience, you're not the one that you need to be attracting. Now, if you go onto our website at stoicbuilt.com.au, you'll see that all of our collateral, all of our work is showcasing high-end luxury bathroom renovation work. Now, that's the target audience that we want to be focusing on. They're the types of jobs that we want to be attracting, and we want to be speaking to those types of clients. And if you look at our competitors in the marketplace, then you'll see that we're on par, or if not above their standard.
Yep.
Okay, so speaking to our target audience, here we have a competitive positioning map.
Yeah, Arjun can upload the marketing.
Yeah, do you want to just, yeah, so soon, in a moment, you're going to be sent out a marketing handout. That's going to come to your files. It's already done? Yep, fantastic. So I want to explain a little bit about that.
Yep, there it is. Perfect.
Yep. Actually, I'm just going to get one so I can see it. So we have a competitive positioning map on the right-hand side. Sorry, 1 second. Technical difficulties, guys. Bear with us. On the right-hand side, you have a brand positioning map. Now, if you notice on the screen that we have here, you'll see Kia Motors on the bottom left-hand corner, up to Mercedes on the top right-hand corner. The axis in the middle, we've got high price, low to low price down the bottom, and low quality to high quality left to right. Now, you notice how there are no brands that are living on the top left-hand corner and the bottom right-hand corner. That's because that's where brands go to die. You can't have a high-quality, low-price product. You can't have a low-quality, high-price product. It's not good business. The business won't last. Now, the importance of this map is to show how important it is to know where you need to be. And it doesn't matter where you are on this map. That you need to know where you need to be, and you need to know what you need to charge and how you need to market yourself to your target audience in order to attract those buyers. Now, Dacia, the bottom left-hand corner, is a multi-billion-dollar company. Now, they're not Mercedes, yet they're still performing. They're still a multi-billion-dollar company. They're low quality, they're low price. They're not going to be marketing to Mercedes buyers, though. Is that making sense to everyone? Give us a hands up or give us a comment if this is making sense, because this is really important. This is very important, because this is going to be the baseline of where you need to start building your brand from. Okay. So on the left-hand side of the page, okay, so I'll go through the handout. Back on the competitive positioning map, we're going to go through now on the left-hand side of the page a competitor analysis, which you're going to collect all of the competitors in your business, of your business and in your industry, in your own time after the webinar. And we've provided the brand positioning map for you in order for you to be able to map them out just like we have here. So again, feel free to take a screenshot, photo, whatever it is, just to remind yourself of what we're talking about here. So you can go off and do it for yourself as well. We've got instructions on the page on how to put your business versus your competitors to help you navigate through that. And I'm going to get right into the competitor analysis.
So bearing in mind, guys, we're talking from, sorry, hello. we're talking from a handout that we have on your screens, has become a digital version. So what George is talking about with the brand positioning map is actually page 2, and the competitor analysis is page 1. So when you get
thanks for clarifying that.
No, but I want to make sure that everybody's clear so that no one's
maybe
confused.
I'll show them.
Yeah,
I'll show you. Here we go. Make it a little bit easier. Brand positioning map, just like I showed on the screen. And now we're going to get into competitor analysis. Yep. Okay. So, competitor analysis. This is one of our clients up in Sydney. He's a domestic builder, and he came to us in December of last year, and he was asking, George, Anna, he's saying, I know how to build. I've been in the industry for 7 years. I'm running my own business for 7 years, been in the industry for some 20 years or so. And he's asking, I know how to build. I'm stuck at $3 million in turnover. I can't get the clients that I want. I can't, excuse me. I'm not getting the clients that I want. I'm getting mum and dad builds, one-offs, and I'm not getting much repeat work. So I said, okay, Tony, first and foremost, let's have a look at where you are, where you're building, and what your collateral looks like. So up on the screen, we've got his old website, which we've since revamped and rebuilt for him. But once we had a look at his original collateral, we identified that it didn't have that luxury feel. So if you look at his logo, it was a bootstrap version of a logo. It was where we didn't speak much about bootstrap, did we? Oh, you did. Yeah. So Anna was talking a little bit earlier about bootstrapping and organic growth. This is where he'd grown organically to. And before he started putting some money into branding, marketing, and actually investing in the growth of his company, this is the ceiling that it had got him to. Now, looking at this, he had some attachments to it. He even said to us, the logo, the links have to stay and things like that. Once we gave him his new guidelines, that he wrote all of that off. Excuse me. So this, to say the least, wasn't hitting his target audience. He wasn't getting the results that he wanted out of his business. So he could deliver on the quality, but nobody knew that when they were coming to see him. And even though he was talking to his clients, he had meetings with them before they were signing up and things like that, it still wasn't enough to get them over the line. But his presentation and his branding wasn't speaking to the audience the way that he needed to speak to them. So we had this is an example of his one of the pages, his About Us page. So having a look at this, you would assume that he's in commercial construction or something like that. And this is typical of a lot of mistakes that business owners make in this space, because we're not branding experts, and it's fair enough. We don't know about all of these little bits and pieces that make all the world of difference when we're looking at our market and our target audience. So, and I'd like you to have a look at your own websites and your own collateral to see this. The purpose of this exercise is to see, are you really in alignment with what you do and who your target audience is? Are you really directed towards that, and how are you speaking to them? Does your website speak directly to them? Does it speak the language that you want to be speaking to them in order to get them to convert? Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Okay, and another page of his projects. Really nice work, really nice projects, yet didn't have the platform to be able to bring those clients in that he needed. Okay, and then this was his submit page at the end. So we started doing, at the start of any branding process, the first thing we do is a competitor analysis. We review the brand's original collateral, what they come with, and then we do a competitor analysis to say, who else is in your space? Who are you up against? Do you even know who you're up against? have we done any research? Have we spent any time figuring out who's in the industry and who who else we're playing in the sandpit with? Because that's the reality of it. If someone's going to build a home, they're going to be looking at their best options. The first place they're going to go to these days is a website, Google, to see who's ranking the highest. And then they're going to pick for their price range and their demographic, the money that they want to be spending, who are going to be the best candidates for them to go and build with. Okay, so these were a couple of competitors of Tony's that we had found, and here's a couple more. So,
do you want to go back and compare his old website to how these builders look?
Yeah, sure. So if you have a look at these landing pages, these front covers of their websites, and you have a look at Tony's, which is all the way back here.
Even though the work is comparable, though.
The work is definitely comparable, but coming on to this is very different to coming on to these ones. We have a different look and feel, very, very different. And even though Tony could produce the work, as Anna was saying, it didn't matter because his clients were going to his website, and then these are his competitors. So at face value, you're going to look at, all right, who have I got to go with, and make a decision based on that. And it's not only here, one of them you can see, we've got finalists 2024 HIA New South Wales. Okay, so they're award-winning builders straight off the bat. So knowing who you're up against is very, very important in any space. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. So on page 1 then, I'm assuming, of your handout that's been sent out to you, we've got why is a competitor analysis important? So I'll just run through why a competitor analysis is important for you guys. And we've just got an example here of what we did for Tony and how to fill one out for yourself. So again, in your own time, once you leave the webinar and when you find some time, when you put some time aside to actually do this, we want you to go off, and we've got 5 examples here that you can fill out.
And if it's not up there, then we'll get them sent to you.
We'll make sure that they're sent to you. We've got 5 boxes. They look like this if you print them off, double-sided, okay? So you can get do your research on your space, the keywords that you're ranking for, and find out who your competitors are. Do some research, do a competitor analysis, do your own competitor analysis. We've provided it all for you. It's free. You need to dedicate a little bit of time and see what they're doing. See what the socials are like. See what their website's like. See what sort of language they're using on their website, in their copywriting. See if they have any ads out. Like, start going through and start paying some real attention to what these businesses are doing in your space to see what you're up against, because you're going to find things that they do really well. You're going to find things that they don't do so well, and you're going to be able to compare what you're doing up against them. And what we rave on about is taking an objective look at your business. And I said before, it's time that we break up with our businesses. And that's true in the sense that we need to become unemotional about the decisions that we make. We need to be looking at things objectively, and this is a really, really good starting point to do so, to say, hey, okay, well, my website, I thought it was great when I built it. I thought the colors are great because I like them. Even if you notice with Stoke Built, I used DeWalt tools my whole life. I had a yellow and black motorbike, and all of my logos were yellow and black, orange, those sorts of colors, because that's what resonated with me. And that's what I really enjoyed. So, but the reality was that I'm not my target market. And when I want to be looking at high-end bathroom kitchen renovations, then I need to be speaking a certain language to attract my target market. So in your own time, please fill those out. Let us know in the comment box if you're having any issues downloading any of those. We can sort that out. And here is the outcome. So after we did our competitor analysis, we did some extensive work on rebranding Link Property Developments, and the outcome was that this is the outcome. This is his new website. Now, you feel free to jump on linkpd.com.au and have a look at all the work that we've done there, and all of Tony's amazing work. And if you are looking to build a house in the affluent suburbs of Sydney, definitely get in touch with him. He does exceptional work. And if you can see here now, after going from where he was to where he is now, and I'll tell you a little bit about his story. So we've been working very closely with him over the last 10 months, or so, since December last year. We're in October now, so I'm just trying to get my bearings. Over the last 10, 11 months or so, we've been working very closely with him, working in his business, because it's part of one of the services that we offer. We have one-on-one consulting where we consult directly to your business. We use us as a fractional executive team to help build, grow, and scale your business. And that's what Tony has opted to go with us. And the results speak for themselves. Tony has got out of the rut of where he was stuck at $3 million a year in turnover. He's now closer to the $6 million a year in turnover. He's done that in under 12 months. And he's made a phenomenal effort in changing everything about the way he runs his business to the way he promotes his business. He speaks to his clientele, the staff that he has on board, the way he hires, and everything in between. So we're very happy with the results that we've gotten with Tony, and we're very happy with. He's actually been like the perfect client as well. So I can't really say a bad word about his commitment and his dedication to what he's done and the effort that he's put into it as well. Because for us to be able to do our jobs properly, our clients need to be able to be on. Our clients need to be on board with it as well. So yeah. So now I'm going to hand you over to Anna, and she's going to talk a little bit about our roles in our businesses. So I hope you found that really valuable. I hope that's helped in understanding a little bit more about your business, your brand, the way we speak to our brands, and the way we speak to our clients, identifying our target market, and doing our competitor analysis. So I'll hand you over to Anna, and she's going to run you through a little bit about the systemization and the operational side of it.
Awesome. Thank you. Who got value out of that? Who loved that? We hope that you got something out of that, because it is really one of the key areas in building and scaling a business is, as I mentioned at the beginning, that we move away from simple transactions. So when Tony, as an example, started, he had a lot of his business and growing organically to that 3 million in turnover was word of mouth referrals, and also being able to exchange work for, or exchange money for work. To grow beyond that, people need to be aligned to something greater. And generally that comes down to building a community. So what he's been able to do is speak directly to his target market. Why? You'll notice that Tony's website is incredibly feminine, and we all know who makes a lot of the decisions when in the luxury space. More often than not, and this has been our experience, the husbands or the men in the household typically are involved in more the financial side. However, the women are more involved in the decision making. So to be able to speak directly to the people that are going to be doing the research and the development and making all the decisions is generally where we want to be, niching down to speak to them. Now, when we're workshopping how to make that translate into the operations and systemization of a business, one of the key areas in scaling a business is being able to segment what you're really good at and what you're not really good at. So in our case, and I'll tell you a bit of a personal example, a bit of a personal example. George and I have very strategic roles in our businesses. We have, and I'll go through, give me a sec. We're going to go through a bit of something that we've created. It's called the Time versus Responsibility Diamond. And it's something that George and I created because we realized that a lot of people spend, especially when you're on the growth stage, on bootstrapping stage to grow a business organically, there's four key areas in a business. One is strategy, one is finance, one is operations, and obviously you have to factor in time. The problem, and what we found in this period, is that time versus responsibility, you can only pick 3 out of the 4. So when we're looking at how we segment our roles in the business, we can all agree if we, thanks, Jan. I just saw your comment. Thank you very much. Yes, it is a beautiful website and it is a beautiful logo. But strategy is one of the key areas that all business owners should be involved in. If you agree with that, click an emoji, say yes, write to us so we can see that the engagement here, guys. I'd love to be able to answer some of your questions along the way, because we will be doing that. This is interactive and it is designed to be interactive so we can get the best out of each other. But strategy is one of the key areas. And what does strategy mean? Strategy means that we need to start making objective decisions. As I said, breaking up with your business. So if there's one thing that we can close from the webinar tonight, is that we need to break up with our business, because what generally happens in a breakup, when you look back in hindsight at the relationship, you tend to remember all the negative, all the positive. You start becoming very objective about the good and the bad in the business, instead of being romantically involved where you're wearing the rose-colored glasses. So one of the areas here that we need to master is becoming absolutely self-critical and strategic about the business so that we can remain objective. Because when we're unemotional about things, we can become very clear about our direction forward. So in this particular case, George and I spend a lot of time on strategy as strategists and as business owners. We should. That is one area that we both should be involved in. However, we can also agree that we all want to have a life. We want to have something beyond working 100% of our time into our businesses and dedicating 100% of our time. So can you guys see my mouse here or not? If you can, hit the button. Otherwise, I'm pointing to the strategy and I'm also pointing to time. And so if we knock those 2 things out, guess what? That only allows for one more thing, right? Because if you're doing strategy, finance, and operations in your business, we can all agree that you don't have time. And what that has helped us to do and helped people to do and our clients is it helps manage the expectations of their significant others, of their families, of their friends, of their commitments outside of work. So there are going to be times when in a pivot, in a growth, in a crisis, that you will be required to spend time in the strategy, the finance, and the operations part of the business. But that means that we have to sacrifice time in order to do so, right? So typically when George and I have to spend a lot of time in the business on strategy, finance, and operations, we also agree that in that time, we are sacrificing time. So we manage the expectations for ourselves, for our lives, and for our families. How in our normal working mode, though, time is the one thing that we do want. So what do? We typically split out 2 areas of our business. One is finance, which I do. That is something that I enjoy. It's also something that I'm really, really, really good at. Why? Because I have spent a lot of my career working up through the corporate ladder. So working in with budgets, working in with strategic financial plans, working with systemized and optimized financial budgets and goals is something that I'm used to, and it's something I'm very comfortable with. So I enjoy that. That is something that I love. However, we can all agree that if we were to look at one of our portfolio companies, which would be Stoic Build, given that this is a tradie, a trade construction and building pointed webinar, we can all agree that me being involved on site, dealing with a bathroom or a kitchen reno, would be as useless as an ashtray on a motorbike. Okay. I don't pick up hammers. I don't go on site. However, so me being involved in the operational side of the business when it comes to project planning, when it comes to the customer management, when it comes to the trade management, procurement, any of those sort of things would not be something within my skill set. So I just don't get involved. And that allows George and I to not be stepping on each other's toes. However, we are 50-50 owners in what we're doing in our companies. So how we navigate that so that we don't make anybody else feel that someone is stepping on each other's egos or on each other's toes is we report to each other once a week. So once a week, I will report to George on the financial side of the business. George will report to me on the operational side of the business. We give each other status updates. We have our team that reports to us in particular areas, and we have our KPIs and HOD requirements, which are head of department. HOD is head of department. So we have our once weekly meetings with our teams in different areas, different businesses, and then we report to each other on the high level areas of the business. Does everybody like that? If you guys like that, give us a shout out. I would love to see some engagement there. But so just to recap, time versus responsibility, strategy, finance, operations, time. You can only pick 3. In saying that, what we've done is we've created, Arjun, if you can send out the systemization flyer and handout, if you could, that would be amazing. Yeah. All right. So let's go through. What we've done is we've created, I'll just see if Arjun, so he sent out the systemization handout. So systemization handout is being sent out to you. If you've got it, that would be awesome. Let us know.
I just want to jump in here as well and just recap of what I was saying earlier. When I was growing D5 construction to that sweet spot that I had, that I was saying to you guys earlier, I was getting overwhelmed and I was getting frustrated with how much I was doing and what results I was getting out of it. And I didn't know why the business kept failing. So I'm sure some of you may have felt this way in the past. When trying to grow, take a step forward, things start falling apart. You're like, well, but this worked up until this point. Well, why isn't it working now? Right? The same model should work going from 6 to 7 figures. Well, the reality of it is your business will grow to an organic ceiling and will not be able to grow past that until you actually put some thought and effort into systemizing it. But that can be really, really overwhelming and you might not know where to start. And I'm talking from experience here as well. Like when I was in that position, I was like, well, I'm the business owner. Only I know how to do everything. How am I going to train people to do it? I do finance, I do admin, I do invoicing, I do quotes, I do this, I do that, I do everything else. And it was really, really getting a lot for me at that time. And that's why it was so much back and forth. But why I wanted to mention this to you is because Anna's going to talk to you a little bit about the system that we've built in order to make that a really easy process. So you'll see in the handout that you've got, which I'll hand over to Anna in a second, but something that's very difficult, that can seem like a massive world of effort, we've tried to break down into as simple of a task as possible, because we know we've all been there, if we're not already past that, but we've all definitely been there. And even if it doesn't relate to you and your business at this point in time, I'm sure this will be able to help your staff members, your family members, or whoever else might be involved that might be getting overwhelmed by a bunch of tasks that they're doing. Okay, so thank you for that. Sorry for cutting in, but back to Anna.
So it's really important that even at any point in your business journey, even if it's at the start, to demark what you're going to be working on and where you are and where you are going to be the most effective is one of the biggest business hacks that I believe would benefit you. Why? Because when you start, build, and scale, especially if you want to do multiple businesses and you're building them from the ground, you can't do everything. So whether it is you need a team, whether it's in-house or fractional, you need a team to help you grow. Because the reality is you are not great at everything. And we can't be great at everything. Otherwise, we would be superhuman, and we're not. We are simple mortals. So what we've done is we've given you guys a handout, and that handout starts with a task list. And that is a task list. The task list looks like this. It's got a bunch of common tasks typically associated with roles in small business. So what we've given you is a value add for you to go away and start looking at all the things that you're currently doing and being able to compartmentalize or put it into what we call a time versus skill matrix. Once you've identified that there are certain tasks within a group of tasks, so you've got individual tasks like keeping files organized, handling emails, messages, setting up and managing meetings, keeping track of important dates, developing policies and procedures, handling customer inquiries, scheduling jobs and appointments, contact details and supply lists, and admin reports. Let's say you were to tick 5 of those out of a total number of 9. What we'd want to do is, in the things you enjoy doing and things you do well, or whichever box it lives in, put admin. So we want to put the department, not the individual task, so that we can actually see what is generally the areas or the tasks or the departments that fit into particular boxes. So compartmentalization comes down to the following. Comes back down to the following. The things you enjoy doing and the things that you do well. Now, the more things you put in that, those are the things that are generally going to make you more effective or going to make you more money. George and I have a rule, and that is that as business owners, we have to remain in the revenue raising activities. So that would be anything to do with sales or marketing. Arjun is asking, Arjun, thank you. He's pushed a poll out. So if you guys can submit your poll so we can close it out, so we can get the answers and feedback from you guys, that'll be awesome. Are you getting value out of this? Awesome.
And I just want to remind everyone as well, any questions that you have along the way, we're going to be doing a Q&A at the end. So we haven't received anything yet from my knowledge. Please put them out there. We want to give you guys as much value as we possibly can with the time we have available tonight.
So if you have any questions relating to your business, anything that you want to workshop, anything that you want us to have a look at, we would love to hear from you so that we can tackle all of the questions in a tackle all of the questions in a Q&A session at the end. All right, so task list. When we're looking at a particular task, so the things you enjoy doing and the things that you do well are areas in your business that we call your zone of happiness. Now, the zone of happiness is areas and things that are going to make you most effective as a leader, as a business owner, and as a money maker. In the top right-hand corner of page 2 of that handout are the things you don't enjoy doing as much anymore, but the things that you do well. Now, we call that a zone of mentorship. Generally, things that fall into that box are things that tasks or departments that you would be able to train and train very well. Things that you can systemize that you and or automate. The things you enjoy doing and the things you don't do well or you want to learn is your zone of learning. So what things that fall into that box and departments that fall into that box are generally mentors, coaches, or consultants that you want to be engaging to help you bolster up the areas in your business that you need help with. So, Jen. Yeah, no, we'll go through that later. So things you enjoy doing and things you don't do well or you want to learn. So typically, if you want to look at social media, branding, and they're things that you enjoy or things that you know you need but you can't do well or you want to learn, those are the areas that you want to be tackling and people that you want to be engaging from an outsourced or an in-house provider or opportunity. In the bottom right-hand box are things you don't enjoy doing and things you don't do well. That is what we call our zone of pain. Now, zone of pain is anything that falls in that box is typically the thing that you want to be outsourcing or hiring straight away. Why? Because when we spend a whole lot of time doing things that we are ineffective at, we procrastinate, we don't do them well, and our business suffer as a result. So this is the purpose of this, and the reason why we've created this as a handout was so that you can do some self-reflection. You can look at the things that you enjoy, the things you don't enjoy, and so that you could get super objective about where you want to get into the future. I hope that helps, and I hope that that's helped. Once you've completed that handout, there is another handout that is our org chart. So what we've done is we've created or given you an example of what a typical trade business org structure would look like. And part of bootstrapping and getting to a scaled version of a business is looking at the things that you can absorb to begin with. And once we've done cash flow projections and we've done budgets and we've done money, which is something that we go through at length in our masterclass and something that we go through and workshop with every single business that comes through, and our private consulting clients, we workshop at what point does each role get clicked in based on turnover, revenue, and systemization and the roles that are needed. So everything that we're giving you here tonight, guys, is something that we believe is necessary for you to scale. It also starts the process for you to be able to go off and start implementing straight away with something tangible, and to be able to have a natural flow of things to get clearer about your growth plan forward. So anything in your compartmentalization handout should translate directly into your own org chart. So that org chart should be something that you should be creating and looking at within yourself. Even if you are a one-man band, even if you are a solopreneur or a solo business owner or a sole trader, you need to start looking at each role on its own merit so that once you've worked out your budgets and your projections and your revenue targets and sales targets, you can start clicking in particular roles. What a lot of people don't tell you is that there's a very, very short window that you get in the transition. So between organic and strategic, when you get to the road of scale, there is a very, very short window to start making these decisions. And if you miss that window, what generally happens is you get too busy, and then you get caught up in the operations part of the business, and you're running like a mouse or a hamster on a wheel, going round and round and round, going to sales, going to the back end, fixing problems. George calls it whack-a-mole. So when you're going from problem to problem, you're going sales, operations, retention, fulfillment, and marketing. So you're going through the juggernaut and playing whack-a-mole with each problem that comes up. And how to avoid that is to stop. Go and give yourself a masterclass. Go and give yourself a deep dive into your business. Throw it all up on the whiteboard so you can get super objective about where your problems are, what decisions you need to make, and how to navigate it. If you guys have loved that or you got value out of that, please give us a like, a share, an emoji so we can see. Thank you. That looks awesome. Oh, it's starting to get some engagement now. That's exciting. Alrighty, so let's go through. So you'll see here our zone of happiness, zone of mentorship, zone of learning, and zone of pain. So anything that you can see, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, the zone of pain, again, just to recap, is something that you want to hire or delegate or outsource, engage a fractional team to sort out for you straight away. Why? So that you can become more effective in the areas that are going to make you money. All right, so we're going to go back. I'm just going to shut this off for a minute so we can talk. One sec. Here we go. All right, so we are back on. We're going to pause the presentation for just a moment so that we can start looking and talking with you all about bootstrapped businesses and utopian businesses. So generally when we're looking at a bootstrapped option and a utopian option, the bootstrapped option is how we all start. That is Canva logos, basic marketing, boosting ads on Meta, and word of mouth referrals. Those are the things that we start with when we start a business. And that's actually where we should be. When we get to utopia and our utopian business model, that's generally when we start scaling. So that's when we need to start engaging a team. That's when we need to start. And by all means, guys, it doesn't actually necessarily you need to have a in-house team. You should only have an in-house team if A, you can afford it, B, if you need it, and C, if there is enough work for them to keep them running full time. There are other options, and offshore is a great example of how you can maximize the tasks and effectiveness in your team. You can also look at onshore management and outsource fractional contractors and business partners. All right, let's go through. I'll just make sure we have covered. All right, I'm going to open the floor to a couple of questions that we have at the moment. Give me a sec. All right, so Do you want to go through this first, or do you want to go through?
Yeah, let's go. Let's run through this, and then we'll go answer questions at the end.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah?
All right. So what we've covered today has been what is scale and how to do it, organic versus strategic growth, identifying the niche, your niche, and how important that is, because by identifying your niche, and again, guys, we're going really high level on a lot of these areas and leaving a lot of the exercises for you to do at home, because we do only have 2 hours. And so we're trying to give the maximum amount of value that we can in a very short period of time. A lot of these things we deep dive over 3 days in our masterclass, and we do that individually with every single person's business. But we're trying to give you as much as we can through your own home play and homework, so that you guys can start getting and implementing straight away. So what we've covered: what is scale, how to do it, organic versus strategic growth, identifying your niche and how important it is, learning market numbers. I cannot stress how important that exercise is, because that will govern. It's when we're going through scale, and a lot of these things are a series of tests that we test an idea or a business concept through before we even start 1 minute or spend $1 in these businesses. Okay, so identifying niche, learning market numbers, and putting those market numbers to the test. When we are workshopping a niche, a pivot, a crisis, a problem, we run it through all of these tests before we say, yep, let's proceed forward with this as a wider business plan. So identifying competitors, we're doing research on your competitors and making sure that if we are going, whatever niche we're targeting or whatever campaign we're going after, that it is speaking all the way through the business. So George mentioned before about Link PD and how he dressed himself up to attract the wider market. It's kind of like going on a date, guys. If you're going out on a date, you want to dress up. It's the same thing with your business. You want to dress up to attract the person that you're wanting to speak to. It's exactly what branding is all about. However, if you're going to go down whatever niche you are going to go down, you have to make sure that the rest of your business follows suit. So that comes down to your collateral, what sales presentations, what your sales presentation is, how people answer the phone, what people wear. Tony and Link PD, as a luxury residential builder, has completely transformed his whole customer journey. So anytime someone rings, he's become a lot more consultative. He brings people in for one-to-one meetings. It's a lot more what we call artisan. And what artisan in our world means that it's a lot more premium, it's luxury, it's a lot more craftsman. So that gives that experience of luxury. So it's not just a website. It's not just a name. It's not just the marketing. It has to then translate through the operations of your business, your systems, your processes, and your customer journeys. So identifying competitors and seeing what is going to make you unique or set you apart from your competitors is generally where you're going to win. Brand positioning is critically important, and understanding and making a clear and objective decision about where you're going to live, either high price, high quality, low price, low quality, and sticking to that and making your business surround that decision. Systemization we've covered today, and that includes how to build systems in and around particular tasks and how to scale in order for you to get to a point where you can automate each one of those roles, automate each one of those, or optimize each one of those roles and systems that allows your customer to have a better experience. We've also covered where you're spending your time and how and what you're most effective at doing, so that it can allow you to be the best that you can be for the business that you have, rather than spending ineffective time and ineffective tasks covering things that you're not good at. We've covered time versus skills and how to create a matrix. Again, we've given that to you for you to have that with you at all times. George and I typically do this once every 3 months to keep us in check, because as I'm not sure if you guys can relate, but most business owners and most entrepreneurs generally are fantastic at moving the goalposts. So we create systems that allow us to keep us in check so that we don't deviate too far away from the plan, or if we are going to deviate away from the plan, that it is a strategic move. We've also gone through time versus responsibility and how we can't be everything to everyone and do everything. We do need a team. So looking at periods in our business where we're absorbing a lot of the high level functions, which means that we're sacrificing time. But if we want time, we need to make a decision on outsourcing, delegating, or hiring for some of the other areas that we're not great at. This then relates to an org chart or an organizational chart, and being able to be super clear about the roles, the responsibilities, and what we call position descriptions. So the position descriptions that relate to those roles and what tasks are required in each one of those areas for you to be able to start making decisions on very quickly where you need to be and where you need to live and what you need to offload or get rid of. And of course, the importance of strategy. Strategy for us is one of the most critical areas that we need to be involved in. That's why we spend so much time talking about different types of strategies. That is brand, lead, sales, optimization, operations, and business strategy. Everything has to start from the business strategy. Then all the key strategies underneath that should relate to the overall business strategy. If it does, then great. That's where you know that you're in alignment. If it doesn't, then something needs to move. Then we need to move the needle somewhere. If you guys got value out of that and you loved that, again, give us a like and a share, or give us a like or a comment, so that we can see what you guys are loving or not. Awesome. Yeah. All right, so we're going to talk to you a little bit about some of our services over the course, over the next month or two. We have our weekend masterclass, which is our flagship 3-day event where we workshop all of those strategies, helping you build a tailored business plan to scale your goals over the next 5 years. Do you want to come
on? Yeah. Thank you, Anna.
You're welcome.
So we've been through a lot here today, and in such a very short time as well, I might add. We've picked out a couple of the modules that our clients and our attendees have found to be the most valuable, for them and their business out of the masterclass. So in a moment, Arjun's going to be sending you through a link to our masterclass landing page where you get some more information on what we actually go through over the 3 days. You'll see that in your chat box in a moment. I think it's there now. So we've got, excuse me, if it's okay with everybody, we've got something very special we want to announce and to give you for attending here tonight and giving us your time and trusting us with your education. So we wanted to give back, and we wanted to announce a special that we have on for the weekend masterclass. Now, the weekend masterclass is going to be held at the end of November, I believe the 22nd, the weekend of the 22nd of November, at the Get Scaled headquarters in Brayside, Melbourne. Now, that's going to be from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Friday to Sunday. All food and drinks are provided. So you literally just need to come, bring yourself with a good attitude, and learn a heap of stuff that has helped us grow and scale our businesses and grow and scale our clients' businesses along the way. So we've put these strategies together. These are the most fundamental and the most important modules that we've put together over the 3 days. We actually had to cut it back because we had too much in there. So there's going to be more levels of the masterclass coming soon. But this is, as Anna mentioned, is our flagship program. It's going to be held at the end of November. So if you can have a read here, I'll read out a couple of bits and pieces, but some testimonials from some of our clients that we've helped already, people that have come through the masterclass. Isaac from Focus Build has spent tens of thousands of dollars on mentors, courses, and advisors, and ended up in a worse financial position than what he started in. And after attending the weekend masterclass and doing a little bit of consulting with us, we worked out where the holes were in his business, where he needed to be focusing on using that same compartmentalization strategy that we've given to you all tonight. And we worked out where he needs to put his time and effort into in order to get himself back in the black. So he's operating in the red, didn't even know he was losing money. We workshopped his budget and his cash flow projections for the next 12 months, and we've been meeting with him monthly, helping him get off the tools. And he's actually one of the reasons why we named this campaign "Get Off the Tools," how to get off the tools in 90 days without increasing your expenses, because that's exactly what he did. Isaac, if you notice in his testimonial there, and he'd be happy to tell you himself, in 2 months, he's completely off the tools, building systems to grow and scale his business. He's working on growth and sales and only on the tools to guide and support the team. And that's really one of the best things that we could possibly ever hear from one of our clients. He's 23 years old, 24 years old, so he's very young, and he's very much a go-getter. And to be able to see him and to be able to help him get to his goals, reach his goals, has been absolutely amazing. Tony from Link Property Developments, you've heard some information about what the journey that he's gone through. He's been a builder for 7 years. He's grown organically to 3 million in turnover and wasn't able to push beyond it. At the time of writing this testimonial, he was 8 months into our first conversation, 8 months past our first conversation, sorry. And now he's over, at that time, he'd grown his turnover an additional $2 million, and he's now gone to nearly $3 million. So he's nearly reached to 6 million in turnover. And the great thing about that is we've been able to manage him and help and watch him and grow his team and get the right people involved in his business and the right strategies involved in his business. There was one example where he could see that we were working on his cash flow projections, and he could see that he was going to have a shortfall in a particular month of this year. And he was able to forecast that 3 or 4 months in advance. So he knew that he was all right for the months leading up to it, but he knew that he had a shortfall in a particular month. So we workshopped strategies with him and workshopped a solution. And he had 3 or 4 months to build that solution to that problem and actually avoid that shortfall. Whereas had he not done that, he would have gone into a hole in that month and not understood why. So that for us is one of our greatest achievements as well, to be able to help business owners foresee problems coming before they know that they're going to happen. Because as we all know, we can get pretty hard down on ourselves when things go wrong. But when you're able to identify those things well in advance and work for solutions leading up to them and help you avoid them, well, that's what it's all about. We've also got Jake here from JK Roof Tiling, another go-getter, mid-20s. It was actually his birthday yesterday. Shout out to Jake. If anyone that knows Jake, happy birthday, Jake. But another one that has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in business coaches, courses and seminars, and because he believes he's saving time for money, turning over 7 figures, doing fantastic, but he'd hit the ceiling. No systems, no processes involved. And again, after spending so much money on mentors and gurus, he found himself in a worse financial position than when he started. After coming to the masterclass and one strategy day with us, we were able to turn his whole business around. We were able to cut costs, identify areas that he needed to focus on, and he went straight down the rabbit hole and fixed the problem areas of his business immediately, getting him out of the hole within. And as he says here, he was able to turn his business around in 30 days, and now he goes on the tools when he wants to. And we're working with him towards building a plan, an actionable plan to grow his operational side, administrative and operational side of his business at the moment, so he can grow and expand in his niche area. So one example I want to give you there. So Jake was servicing he was doing subcontractor work. He was doing volume builds. He was doing other work in other avenues. He was just doing whatever was coming at him as a job, thinking that he was making money. He know his numbers, and after we sat with him and actually worked out where he was making his best money, it was the area that he was putting the least amount of focus on, which was re-roofs. So now he's focusing 100% on re-roofs. He's targeting re-roofs as a niche campaign. He's getting more and more of those jobs, and he's making the best money that he's made in his life. So for us, as Get Scaled, we couldn't be happier. And again, Jake, stellar client. Yeah, he just takes action immediately. He doesn't stuff around. He just gets out there and gets it done. So that's a little bit from that's a little bit of information from people that we've helped in the past. Now, we want to talk to you a little bit about the deal that we have on at the moment for those of you who have trusted us with your time and with your education here tonight. We've got our retail price for a masterclass is $49.95, but because you signed up here tonight and came to the webinar as part of a how to get off the tools in 90 days without increasing your expenses promotion, we're going to do it for $19.95. We've sent you the link for an expression of interest, but doesn't stop there. As part of this promotion tonight, because you've attended, we're going to give you 2-for-1 tickets. So if you have a business partner or a life partner that you'd like to bring on to attend, with your purchase, you get 2-for-1 ticket. So the value you'll be getting, 2 masterclass tickets, total value $9,990 for $19.95. So if you're interested in that, please show an expression of interest by putting through a form on the link that's been provided to you, and we'll get one of our team members to give you a call over the next couple of days, and we can organise and learn a little bit more about your business, make sure it's the right fit, and then we can go from there. Okay, Anna.
Let me just update.
That concludes the presentation. We have a couple of questions to answer.
Yeah, awesome.
So, do you want to say this one?
Yeah, we can do it together.
Yeah.
All right. So, we do have a question: how to handle rebrand?
Unshare the thing.
That would work.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look at some of the questions. And thank you guys for putting so many questions in. It's been great.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. How to handle rebranding with existing social media accounts. We have two business profiles per social platform.
So is this, Jen, if you can just jump on and comment just on a little bit more information. So it says here, how to handle rebranding with existing social media accounts. We have 2 business profiles per social platform. They all have history and following, but are not as polished to fit our new brand. Now, are they 2 profiles, Party Food Melbourne and PFM Events? Okay, so you got 2 different business names, is that right? With 2 separate accounts? Jen? I don't know if there's a delay.
We're pulling both brands into. Okay.
Okay, so you're rebranding into a new brand. Is that right? Because in order to give the right advice, for the right opinion, we need to be able to get the right specific advice. So Leo Events, is that right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
delay.
right.
All right. Sorry for all of you that are waiting. There's a delay on the chat function.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So
I'm happy to take this one. So, Jen, there is absolutely nothing wrong with a rebrand being launched. In fact, one of the amazing things about marketing campaigns is that you can use your old branding to launch the new branding. So you can use it as a campaign. If you actually go on the Get Scaled Instagram page, you'll see that Get Scaled started with a bootstrap logo and then moved to the new look and feel of the new branding and rebrand process. Same with Stoic Build. All of the old branding is there. You don't have to hide it. You don't have to remove the history. You can actually play on it and use it as the relaunch when you do the new brand. So we wouldn't get rid of the history of the old branding.
no.
I would keep it because it shows the transition and growth of the company from a bootstrap to a scaled company, which is the look that you want to go for. So if you were to imagine yourself as a consumer and you're going into you go to a business that started off with a particular look and feel, and then it goes into something a lot more glamorous or a lot more pointed, a lot more targeted, it becomes a story. What about retargeting elements of wanting to attract it? Yeah, 100%. So that we would just use that as different marketing campaigns, different marketing campaigns, different audiences, the beauty about marketing. I'll give you an example of something like from a major 10-figure business, which would be something like Coca-Cola. They have a different campaign every season. Share a Coke with Cola, share a Coke with George, share a Coke with Anna. Santa Claus, it is white and red. St. Nicholas used to be green and red. It's become red and white to match Coca-Cola because of a campaign that happened in the mid 1900s. So it becomes all about different campaigns targeting different audiences. And here's the beauty. Not all of it has to live on your website. Not all of it has to live on your socials. You can hide it. You can create different campaigns and have landing pages for particular campaigns for different target audiences. It doesn't all have to live on one major website. You can have PFM events, for example, or Leo events as the amalgamated brand between the two, and have Party Food Melbourne and PFM events or events and catering as particular segments on the page, but have different campaigns going out to different audiences and landing pages for each individual niche that you're trying to target. Does that make sense? Has that helped? All right. Yep. Awesome.
Fantastic.
Awesome. All righty. Let's see who else. Who else has another question? If anyone has any other questions, we'd love to hear from you. Anything at all, systems, operations, brand, marketing, campaigns, whatever you want. We had a question before, so I'll ask that of George because it's a process one.
Which one's that?
It came to me earlier. So one of the questions that came through was, when a person's on the tools,
yep,
and they are right now working on jobs, doing admin, doing the invoicing, they get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, they finish at 7 o'clock at night, they've got no time for their family, they've got no time for anything. What is the first step that they would need to take?
First step?
First step.
Replace your income.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, we're going to find a way to replace our income, because money is the driver for all of these things. Okay. So where we're when we're trying to grow and scale, there's going to be a level of investment that needs to be made. Okay. When you're grinding, when you're on the tools, when you're focusing on doing every aspect of your business, we generally like, all right, we've made a little bit more money, we made a little bit more money, we made a little bit more money, and we start taking a little bit extra, and again. Okay. What we need to do, or what we say we need to do, is take a step back at that point in time and say, all right, I need to make a fundamental change here. I need to make a systemic change. I need to make a change within myself on how I'm going to operate this business moving forward. So in order to do that, we need to, what's the amount of money that I need for my living expenses to keep going, right? So if it's whatever that figure may be for you, it's $1,000 a week, $2,000 a week, whatever it's going to be, we look at replacing that and what it's going to take to replace that immediately, right? So if I'm moving off the tools, let's talk carpentry for the moment. How many carpenters do I need to put on, and how many jobs do I need to have in order to get that money so I can be financially covered for the period of time where I'm going to need to make this investment? Does that answer the question?
I think so.
Fantastic.
All right. Anyone else?
All right. Last call for questions, guys.
No.
Okay, fantastic.
All right. We're going to leave it there, guys. Thank you so much. Oh, we have a question. Anna mentioned being unemotional in business. How do we balance making rational decisions whilst also trusting our business gut instincts and passion in our business? Great question, actually. That is a great question. The simple answer is this. Gut instinct and passion, you can have intuition, but if you follow it too far down the rabbit hole, it can actually send you broke. We had a situation where we had a builder that owed us a significant amount of money. It impacted our cash flow exponentially, and we had to dig out $280,000 in 90 days. And we had to cover payroll during that period. It was very, very difficult. So had we not made decisions in that time that went away from gut instinct, and it was purely based on the financial performance of the business, on the budgets, and on what we knew we could bet on ourselves to dig out of it, that would have ended up in a very serious deficit for us. So being unemotional is probably the most critical, because if we are governed by our gut instincts and our passion at all times, that also means you're governed by your fear, you're governed by love, you're governed by all things that are intangible and not quantifiable. One of the things that helps us, and I can tell you, when we first did our very first masterclass, George and I were very nervous. We were quite fearful, and getting up public speaking in front of people was not a skill that we started off naturally. It was a learned skill. All right. One of the things that if we were governed by our gut at the time, it would be to run away from that. But we wouldn't be here today if we did that, right? So
definitely not.
So the move to move forward into events, public speaking, webinars, giving out value to you guys was something that needed to be part of a strategic move forward, not an emotional or a passionate move forward. We knew that was what was required of us to be able to give value to you guys, to be able to achieve the vision of the business. However, that needed to be made with an end outcome or a business outcome in mind. So I hope that answers your question, Emily. Did it?
Love the delay.
I know, right? Oh, yes.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for those of you interested in having a bit more of a chat with our team about the webinar, expression of interest, fill out the form, and over the next few days, our team will reach out to you and seek your feedback on the webinar, on our very first webinar. So we hope you got massive value out of the Get Off the Tools in 90 Days first part webinar series. Thank you, George, for joining us when you're sick. And if you have any questions, reach out to the team. You'll be hearing from Rochelle. Rochelle is part of the Get Scaled customer success team, and she'll be in touch with you over the next few days to have a chat and get your feedback.
Yeah, we'd love some constructive feedback as well. And believe me, we've got big shoulders and we can take it. So anything we can do to improve our content and our delivery, would love to get your feedback. So as Anna mentioned, Rochelle will be giving you a call out to see what your thoughts are and your feedback and how we can improve for the next part of this series, and also for masterclasses and webinars to come. We're also going to be launching our Scale Stream webinar, which is not part of the How to Get Off the Tools in 90 Days series. Our Scale Stream webinar is going to be held once a month in the first week of every month. You'll keep a lookout in your emails. You'll be getting sent some information out about that. Now, we're going to have a topic of the month every month for that. It's going to be something new and something exciting, hopefully to be sharing our insights on our experiences and what's helping us in our current challenges and what's helped us in our past challenges get through the hard times, and how to grow and scale in the good times as well. So keep an eye out for that in your emails. Thank you very much again for your time tonight. We really appreciate your commitment and your attendance here, and we hope you've got maximum value out of it, and we can't wait to see you at the next one.
Thanks, guys.